Hello, in this video I'd like to talk a bit more about how the flood was caused and also what life was like during the pre-deluge era. So let's get into it. What we have here is the model of the flat earth with the firmament above and the waters above the firmament. So what I think the case is that the flat earth during the pre-deluge era had during Noah's days had more air in it. The air was thicker. The atmosphere is much thicker, very rich in oxygen, possibly, and other gases, nitrogen, etc. So there's probably a lot more thicker gas down here. And the theory that supports this is that bigger life gets bigger when you have more oxygen in the air. And to show this is the case even in our contemporaries, if you take a look at rainforests down near the equator, there's more oxygen near the equator, near the lungs of the world. There's a thicker atmosphere. The trees, of course, suck in the carbon dioxide and they expel oxygen. And the atmosphere down there is thicker than compared to, let's say, the atmosphere up here due to the fact that they have a lot more trees pumping out air. That's one theory. And things grow bigger down there. The trees grow much massive. The plants grow bigger. It's hot. Heat also might have something to do with things growing a little bit bigger too. I don't know much about that. But if you took a look at this, okay, things grow bigger. Life forms, mammals, lizards, all grow bigger when they have a thicker atmosphere. And this is the case with the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs were massive, and so were mammals. Um, some of the mammals, even after the pre-deluge, the atmosphere probably didn't get thick, really thin like it is now until after the Ice Age, basically, is what I think. Because, I mean, you still have very big mammals then in the Ice Age. And some of those mammals actually might have been pre-deluge and mammals too, a couple of them here and there, because not everything died off in the flood, mind you. Things survived the flood. Besides what was on the ark, things definitely survived. Everything that was in the ocean that was able to adapt survived, of course. And so one way to support this theory is that, yeah, the mammals and the trees, even, we have massive trees back in the Cretaceous, Jurassic. You can't even really categorize those ages as correct because I find carbon dating to be a little faulty. That's just my opinion. I also find the fact that the Earth shows spontaneous creation rather than instantaneous, or I mean, shows spontaneous creation rather than evolution, rather than things evolving, in my opinion. And the thing is, you have big trees. I mean, this is what created the coal too. The massive coal deposits and the oil deposits were old animals for the oil, and oils also might be used as gears, not gears, but as a form of lubrication for the earth for to move the tectonic plates. That's what one theory is presented by Feed Your Mind. He has a video about that the oil is actually just literally greasing the tectonic plates. So the thing is that the massive trees from the pre-deluge era form the coal we have now. The pressure, let's say this is Earth and the trees, they went underground, they just got buried a little bit, water came on top pretty much, and they got buried with earth and water, and boom, it formed coal. It didn't take that long. It's not exactly that quick. I mean, this is a quick process. This isn't like what scientists have told us. It's not like millions of years it took to form coal and oil. I don't think that's correct. So anyway, and the thing is, they show evidence for massive trees. You can find videos on Feed Your Mind and Russian Vids and a couple others and a number of other flat Earth YouTube channels where they'll disclose to you the hexagonal shapes you'll see in rock formations. Like, let's say Devil's Tower is one example of them. I don't have a picture of it here, but I could find one for you real quickly. Put that grammatically correct here. Devil's Tower. There we go. Correct for Devil's Tower. See if we can find a Devil's Tower picture for us real quickly here. Come on, computer. There it is. Here we go. Okay, so this is Devil's Tower, and it's believed that this is a massive tree, is all this is right here. So this right here is probably a massive tree, and the shapes of these long stem-like structures are pretty much hexagonal. They have a hexagon shape to them, which you'll find in trees that become petrified. They have a hexagonal shape on their petrified wood. You'll find that commonly. And you'll find this. You'll find other things like Devil's Tower. This might have been a tree at one point, is what some people think, a massive tree. And you'll see this in movies too. You'll see this in the movie Seventh. Well, no, not Seventh. You'll see this in the movie The Last Witch Hunter, where they all in the end of the movie, the witches, and this is also a spoiler for the plot, by the way. So I'm sorry to spoil the plot for you. But at the end of the movie, the witches and wizards, they live in this massive tree, and that's harking back to the fact that there used to be these massive trees in the pre-deluge era. So this is also supposedly might be some evidence to show you that there were massive trees back then. There were other trees that are not nearly as big as this one, but this is the stump of what might have been a tree, is what some people think. And there's big trees like that too. I mean, these are the small ones we have now, and the ones back then just grew much bigger. So let's get back to it, if I can find where on earth I just put. Here it is. Oh yeah, back at where we started. Okay, so we have that. So the thing is that when God brought along the flood, one theory that I have is that God might have opened up the firmament to make water come down, and that would have let out air. So what happened is that God could have opened up the firmament, like over here, let's say. Air would bubble up, it would let water in, the air would bubble out, it would let down the water, and it's just a quicker way of flooding the earth is by letting some of the waters of the firmament down here. So, and that would let off some of the atmosphere too. So at post-flood, you would have a thinner atmosphere, which is shown in the fact that life forms in the post-flood era were smaller life forms. And by the way, I got this theory from life forms being bigger in the pre-deluge era from a gentleman by the name of Trey Smith. I don't support Trey Smith's later work, but I support his earlier work. His later work discusses 777 and other topics, and he's using what looks like some demonic numerology to do something with it. And he's also talking about some 7/7 prophecy with Trump now, which we'll just get in. We'll get off that topic, but I don't approve of his. I approve of his early work, but not his later work. I think he might have made a deal with someone to put out something that's not really entirely true, or just kind of supporting like some candidate that's going to be some savior. Like Trump is, they're having some prophecy go with him that he's going to be some sort of great candidate that's Christian, is going to help Christians, and there's some sort of 777 prophecy. But you also find 777 mentioned in a book called 7/7 Liber All by Aleister Crowley. So that's one thing that's a red flag. And I'll get off this topic because I could discuss it for a little while, but it's a different topic. Well, maybe we'll just get right back on this topic just for a moment. Is that 7/7 in the book Liber All by Aleister Crowley discusses the fact that 7/7 means that oneness is the true number of God, is what that means. It translates to in numerology. In his numerology, it also says to exist in a world of shells. And what they mean by that is that human hosts can be shells, and it also might suggest transhumanism, like Ghost in a Shell. You can live forever in a shell kind of thing. Demons can also live in a shell. They're looking for a host. I don't get into too much demonic possession. I mostly believe in that humans have free will, so I don't think that demonic possession is that. I believe in it a little bit, but not too much. But anyway, we'll get off this topic. So anyway, so the atmosphere bubbled, went up. Bubbled out of here, let water down. Okay, that's one idea to get the atmosphere thin. But the other thing to discuss is in the pre-deluge, you have the lack of ocean. There are oceans, but there's less water. So the thing is that there's more air, and if you go well below sea level, like let's say to the Atlantean continent, which is below sea level, you would have a lot more air. So and all that atmosphere would be pumping down on there. You'd be way below sea level. So you see what I mean? There was a thicker atmosphere in pre-deluge era, and then in the post-flood era, you have a less thick atmosphere. And one thing to discuss here is the fact that, okay, so here's the equator right here on flat Earth, okay? So to discuss my theory about how God made it cold, let's say that it's like this. So if you look at 30 and 40, or 30 and 30 south and north on latitude and longitude, or not, my mistake, 30 north-south latitude, you'll find mostly deserts in the world. So the Sahara Desert right here, the Arabian Desert, and the Gobi Desert, all right here, are all near 30 latitude. Okay, they're all near 30 north. In and also we have in 30 south, near 30 south, we have the Great Australian Desert. And if you go around over here, we have the in over here, I think it's called the Atacama Desert in Argentina and Chile. You also have the Great American Desert up here, which is 30 near 30 north. So anyway, so you get the pictures that you have deserts near 30 north-south latitude. And why is that the case? Because the air there is hot and dry. The water at the equator, I'm saying that, well, I should say that the oceans at the equator, they're really moist and hot, and the air rises. It condenses into clouds then when it rises because it's colder up high. And it forms clouds. It drops all of its rain at the equator, for the most part, near the equator. And then at 30 north-south, this area here, you don't have that happening. It dropped the clouds already dropped all their rain, and it becomes dry. And the air there is very dry and hot. And the heat from it makes it so that it's hard for it to rain. So that basically makes it that shows you my theory is somewhat based on science, is that God made the air very cold. Okay, so, and to show that that's the case, that God made the air cold all over the earth. It was all over the earth. It wasn't just in any one spot. So the air got very cold, and then the ice age happened. And God made it cold in order to make the water condense to form the rain. So God might have dropped water from the firmament, then made the air really cold, and then made it rain for 40 days and 40 nights, which flooded out all the land. And that's pretty much what I think might have happened to the earth to make the flood happen. So I think that's about it. I mean, it's kind of pretty simple theory based on some simple science here. So let me know what you think. That's pretty much it. So I'll let you guys go, and God bless, and I hope you guys have a really good day.